Hello, welcome to this tutorial for beginners on Logic Pro X. In this tutorial, I'm going to give you the basics of how to use Logic Pro, everything you need to do to get started so that you can get on and make a song. So if you want to become more confident with using Logic Pro X, keep watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Thank you. So I'm here with a budding musical entrepreneur. So the first thing we need to do is to record a bass drum in, it's a dance track straight fours. So do you want to lay down, get up a drum kit, bass drum. I think we'll go with C3 there. Stop. Okay. Now we need to quantize that. Select the part, quantize it. We're going to use 16. If you deselect it and stick the quantize on 16 as well, stick it on 16 there. Right. So that everything that we record from now on will be on a 16 quantize. Right. So if you listen to that, now a quick way to do a loop round a part is if you click on the part and then hit U, it will automatically do a 2-bar loop for you. Now, the next thing to do is to get the bass drum so that it's quantized volumes, it's already quantized in time. So we're going to just, for most of the time, we're going to use Apple 4. And if we go to the menu, Apple 4 is open piano roll. So if you'd like to go Apple 4. Apple 4. Now the next thing to do is to get all these bass drums to the same volume. Now we're doing everything on this page rather than going to other pages to do this, just because I think if you're starting off, you don't want to learn everything at once. So let's do as much as we can in the piano roll page, because that's the page most people use for most things. Okay, if you play that back now. Right, now the next thing to do is to record in a bass part. We could start with the keyboard part, but we've decided to do with the bass part. And the way we do that is we get a recorder and stick it in record. So we've got just a voice memos here. I'm going to play the bass drum. Would you like to sing the bass part? So there you go. We've recorded the part. Have a listen back. Put the part into the phone. Next thing we do is we send it to the computer, and I'm going to use AirDrop, and I'm going to select the Mac, and we'll pull that in. We'll open up a new audio track. Bass guide. Okay, so we've just put the part in. Now we're going to just smaller the screen, and we're going to use this here just to make the parts much bigger. Now we know that it's near the end of that, so let's just pull that up to about there, and let's hit U. Remember the U, Apple U, to get perfect round. So there we've got the part. So we can just pull that to about there. Pull that to about there. Apple U. Okay, now one thing we can do is once we get the screen looking nice how we want to look at it, we can record the screen by going to the top here and hitting lock, and then whenever you lose the screen that you're working on like that, if you hit 1, it just comes back. Okay, can you just pull that so it all this new bass part that we've just done starts on bar 1, yeah? Okay, now do a loop around the bass drum pattern. Do you remember using the U button? Click on the bass drum, click on the bass drum. No, the bass drum, and hit U. Unmute it. Hit play. That's good enough for jazz. Okay, so what we're going to do now is record the bass part in. Do you want to just get a bass sound up? The reason why we do it this way is it's the quickest way to lay in a bass part rather than trying to remember how the bass line went. Subby bass. All right. Okay, hang on. So we've actually, yeah. Right, okay. So we'll get this, we'll put this back to drums. Drum kit, Blue Ridge. Okay, so if you listen to this, right, we could get that a little bit tighter just by pulling that in like that, pulling that to there, and probably best to start with a 1-bar loop to begin with. Now, if we hit record, it gives you 1 in. So now we're going to have a go at recording the bass. There's a low latency, which is very important. And the way to get to that is you click on this, and this gives you all the options. And we look for this one here, low latency, okay. Click that on. And then when you play, there's no delay. So let's hit U and hit record. Right, I made one mistake on that. So if we go to Apple 4, let's move this up. Okay, and now we select all, Apple 7, and we go to function, MIDI transform, fixed velocity, 110, return, operate. That gets all the notes to the same volume. And if I went a bit quick there, you can always rewind the video. So have a listen. Right. Next thing we want to do is put a bit of compression and stuff like that on it. So we turn the latency off, and this sound has already got subby bass on, which is all right, bass amp on, but the compressor, we can have a little look at this compression, and we're at a beginner's level. So we're going to start by going to the presets, and we're going to go to guitars, find FET bass, and hit play. And as you can see, the compressor's doing nothing. So what we're going to do is move the move the threshold until it starts moving. And I was going to mess around with the ratio, but I reckon about 3 is good. And we can knock that back so that it's between 0 and minus 0.5. Hit option and click on there, brings that to 0. I don't know why Logic puts it at 7, probably because they want the whole Logic to distort, but you can see that's at a decent level now. So we've got the bass there, subby bass, and we've got the bass drum here. I'm going to click on that, call that bass drum, and then hit alternate N to name the channel bass drum, alternate C to color it, and we're going to color the drums red and the bass brown. Save it to disk, and then we'll just, and let's just get rid of this. This is just a guide that can go now. And we got this. Now we're gonna pick a more dancey bass drum. So okay, so click on this here, and let's go down to electronic kits. So go back a page, yeah, and go to electronic kits out here, and then go down to 909. Up, there's a 909 there. And now 909, it's got all these, that's already there, sounding good. But if you look on this, we've got all these sounds. So let's pull this down to here, and let's mute the bass and see what sound we get if we do this. Okay, so it's your bass drum. So the next thing to do is to have an open hat. Close, close, open. And let's see what it sounds like. Okay, there's the open hat. So we just hit play, record. And because we've got quantize on, everything's being quantized to 16. We're going to put a closed hat now. Let's find a closed hat. Yeah, there we go. So we're using all the 909, right? If you hit play, it stops recording. And let's try some claps. Right, I didn't hit record, but if you hit Shift R, it gives you the sound anyway. Let's see what the congas are like. All right. Oh, actually, that was quite nice, wasn't it? Yeah, so we could do this. No, we'll go for the congas, right? This is just a guide sound, you know what I mean? Right, do you want to get... Right, we'll go to drum kit. We're going to go for... Where's percussion? Can you see percussion? And then we got Latin. I'm going to put this latency on because it was such... Here we go. So here we go for one more. Okay. If you look at it, it's all looking okay. So now we bring the bass back in. I'm going to colour it all red. Okay, so, and the levels are not bad. So we're just going to put one keyboard part in. And you found a great keyboard part, didn't you? Do you want to get that sound? So we're just going to... That was all right. All right, just play it. reverb on, a little delay on that. Right, so we're going to put a little bit of delay on that. So we just go to delays, stereo. See what the reverb's like on this. A little bit of reverb. And then we turn that down. Okay, so the last thing we're going to do is just put a little bit of compression on the whole track. So if we just go to factory, dance. Here we go. So we've got a little bit of a compression. Go to dance. All right, so there's a little bit of brightness on there, and that did actually sound quite nice, that. So we'll leave that on. This is probably doing nothing. And then this one. Okay, so we've got a nice pattern going there. Now we can extend it by hitting Apple R. There we go. Put a loop around the whole thing. And we can just put a little keyboard part on, stereo. And I'm going to use a harder quantize on this. And it goes at 4. Open this up. I'm going to put another pad on. Right, so okay, so we're just going to do one more keyboard part. And actually, what would be really nice is to find some kind of clavy sound, but we're just doing this quickly using whatever is easy to get to. But I think I'll just leave it on this sound. Sod it, right? Here we go. So. And that's how the song's building up. So that's the end of the first lesson.